The E.S.S. Wellington, An Interstellar Tale, by J.N. Wdowski. Chapter 16, Admiral Ford. They entered the lightly dimmed strategy room of the Checkmate. A large computer display table was in the center. Two aliens stood behind the Admiral, who sat at the far end of the table. The aliens did not wear Starforce navy blue uniforms like the Admiral and the crew of the ship. Instead, they wore the traditional black and gold Palace Guard uniforms of their homeworld. Both stood at attention, armed with pulse rifles, which they held in front of them on a diagonal, barrels up. Humanoids, they had large, alert, predator cat-like eyes. Their pale white faces were stern and distant. Their white hair was short, exposing their white, bat-like ears. "Galgar," Dr. Kumar whispered to Mueller. "Yes, Doctor. Galgar, Imperial Guards." The Admiral overheard her question. "They are a part of my inheritance." Inheritance? She was puzzled. "Admiral Ford is the grandson of Ambassador Ford," Mueller explained to her. "The Ambassador Ford?" "Yes, Doctor. Emperor Rugath, the 35th, gave my grandfather an honorary family title in his high court. The females in my family all received their traditional black fans with red icons of the Earth and the Moon. Along with the fans and title, my grandfather received lands on Kepler 1649c and an attachment of personal Imperial Guards. When he passed, the lands and guards went to my father, and now to me." The 73-year-old Admiral turned and looked at the two guards at attention behind him. "Of course, they are only half of the detail given to me and are not the same individuals that guarded my grandfather. Even Gwalgars don't live that long." "I never knew," Dr. Kumar replied. "Starforce is not that crazy about one of their admirals having his own private armed security that they have no direct control over. But to reject them would be a great insult to Emperor Rugath, the 36th. The Admiral gestured for them to be seated at the strategic table. Mueller sat at the large display table directly across from the Admiral. Novikov sat on Mueller's left, and Dr. Kumar sat on his right. "May I speak freely, Admiral?" "I expect no less, Captain Mueller." "I hope you are not planning a punitive attack on the Holden system for the destruction of the Grant." "Mueller, if your reports of the Holdens are accurate, it would be extremely foolish of me, even with the entire fleet, to engage them." Ford narrowed his piercing eyes. Mueller sighed in relief. "I'm glad, Admiral, that my reports made that clear. Then why is the fleet here?" "You're going back to the Holden system," Ford explained. "Excuse me, sir, my ship is in need of repairs. I still have a hole in my starboard side, and the Rogers aliens on board." "I am aware of your condition, Captain. We will be taking the Rogers off your hands. I will have 2 of my fast attack destroyers return them to Tester 3. You are to dock with one of our support ships, so they can begin repairs on your ship. They will also restock you on anything you need, and I will be replacing the men and women you had lost." "Our mission?" Mueller was confused. "Your mission, Captain, is to return to the outskirts of the Holden system. You are not to cross their line. They clearly drew for us. Yet I want you to try to contact them right at the edge of their system. Think of it as ringing the doorbell before being invited in." "Contact them?" Novikov spoke up. "Yes, Lieutenant Commander. Your mission is to make peaceful contact with them." "And you in the fleet?" Mueller looked at the strategic display table that showed the position of the fleet in the Gez-Genzel system. "We will continue on to Clancy 3. We will hold there to defend our furthest outpost in case your mission fails." "Wouldn't that expose Tester 3 if they decide to bypass Clancy 3 and go straight for them?" Mueller pointed on the display at the position of the Tester 3 colony. As he did, he noticed blue indicators of ships in the Tester system. "The 10th Fleet has already taken position to protect Tester 3, as you can clearly see. It was why we did not meet up with you sooner. We were waiting for them to arrive and relieve us." Ford's jaw tightened, as his eyes narrowed even more. "In all honesty, from what you reported about the Holdens, even with both fleets, we are no match for them. Against a foe that is able to strike never even being detected, able to easily bypass our repulsive gravity shields and our reactive healing armor. Our only real chance is if you can make serious contact with them. We need to reach out to them, have a real conversation, not just sending coded numbers at each other." "I wish we had your grandfather for this mission." Mueller had read all of Ambassador Ford's mission journals. Admiral Ford grinned slightly. I am not even sure he would know what to do with these Holdens. At the moment, Mueller, like it or not, you are the only Holden expert we have. You and your crew are our best chance. Humanity has never faced a more dangerous adversary. With all due respect, Admiral, couldn't we just accept their conditions and merely avoid their system? Dr. Kumar sat straight up in her chair. Ford looked into her eyes, causing her to wiggle back in her chair away from his stone glare. Did the Rogers cross their line? Well, no, they didn't, she had to acknowledge. Did they warn the Grant before destroying them? He inhaled deeply to control his anger. No, they did not. I don't think so, did they? She sheepishly looked to her captain. They gave us no warning, Admiral, Mueller confirmed. No buoys marking their domain. Were there? Ford brought up the systems chart of the Holden system on the display table. No, sir. No buoys. No markers. No warnings. Mueller responded. We had no signs that the Holden system had any life forms in their system. We only knew from our deep scans there was a Class T prime world in the system. There were no signs of any intelligent life on the world. No radio signals. No artificial energy outputs of any kind. Nothing. So tell me, Doctor, Ford looked back into her eyes as he leaned a bit towards her. Are you confident that as we expand into this region of space, they will peacefully remain in that system and not take out any of our ships or forward bases? No, Admiral. I am not sure, she had to admit. Mueller stroked his chin hairs, cleared his throat, bringing the Admiral's attention back to him. Something else on your mind, Captain? Mueller cleared his throat again to buy himself the time to put into the right words before explaining to the Admiral what he was thinking. Admiral, I am more than willing to go on this mission. A mission that may be one way. Mueller, you are the only one that can. Hopefully not turn this into a one-way mission. Thank you for your confidence in me, Admiral. From you, it means a lot to me. But, the but is, I do not feel my crew, who has already been through a lot. Mueller paused to rethink his wording. I would want to give them the option not to volunteer. Ford sat back in his chair. He took out a curved cherry wood pipe from under his tunic and placed it in the corner of his mouth. Oddly, he did not light it. I understand, Captain. And I agree. This needs to be an all-volunteer mission. They'll have the time, as we make repairs on your ship, to choose to go on this mission or not. Those who decide to sit this one out will be transferred to other ships in the fleet. I expect it will not be held against them if they choose not to volunteer. Mueller was concerned for his men and women. Ford took the cherry pipe out of his mouth, feeling its weight in his hand. He looked at the pipe before raising his eyes to meet Mueller's directly. I promise, any of those that choose not to go on this mission, it will not affect their service records. But, Mueller pushed slightly. He always had a knack for sensing buts. Ford placed the unlit pipe back in the corner of his mouth. No buts, Captain. Only that those that do volunteer for this mission, it will reflect positively on their service records. Mueller sighed deeply. Thank you, Admiral. I volunteer, blurted out Novikov, hesitating a bit at first. Dr. Kumar finally chimed in. I do too. Ford smiled at them and Mueller. Well, Captain, it seems you have a confirmed crew of 2 so far. Be sure to continue to Chapter 17, Preparation.
To support the author, please like, share, comment, and subscribe.